me see here. What's your NCPDP number?
It is 5700388.
Let me see what we have on file for you here. Oh yeah, Micro Merchant or Prime RX. So Envoy is the one that actually provides the information. If that's your switch still.
Envoy is our switch.
That's what we have on file. We can double check with Micro.
I thought it was Relay Health.
Well, Envoy and Relay Health are the same.
Oh, Envoy and Relay
Health.
Okay. Okay. Now, so does Relay Health provide you the data, or is it the Micro Merchant?
It's the switch company, so it would be Relay Health.
Okay. Would you be able to send me those authorization forms?
I can, yeah. That's part of the setup with Inventory Manager. Like if you decided that you wanted to move forward, we have you basically electronically sign an interest form, and then we send you those documents as part of the packet that we send for you.
Okay. But then I need to evaluate it based on the cost and everything and effort. Mainly I don't want to spend the money if I do not have the infrastructure on, in-house to manage the inventory. So.
Right. Yeah, so the goal is to kind of help you streamline. Usually I recommend that there's somebody that we title like a SIM champion. It can be a tech or it can be a pharmacist, whoever you want to spend time. Basically, our recommendation is that a suggested order builds throughout the day for your pharmacy, and then it rolls to cart at a designated time. So say if you're going to push an order out at 4:30, we would have it roll to cart at 4 o'clock, and then you have somebody review the order between 4 and 4:30. So that suggested order is supposed to take the place of all of that manual input into the system where you have to decide whether you're going to be ordering an item or not. It would be more of reviewing the order after it's already been populated for you.
So we do not need to.
So, Chris, one of my partner will also join. Just check if anybody waiting in virtual lobby. Maybe you can keep checking every couple of minutes. I don't know when he will join.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I can keep it up there. It should give me a little.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. So there are a lot of different benefits to this as well, other than just the streamlining of an ordering process.
One second. What is this suggested order? Hey, Ankur, are you how do you use this suggested order?
Well, suggested order is, based on what we dispense, it will tell us what to order for next day.
That's right.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So
it goes throughout the day. Instead of removing a sticker from a bottle once you've dispensed that bottle and placing it up front for an order, or having cards or having stuff written down, it's just building an electronic order for you based off of how frequently you're dispensing items.
Oh wow, okay. And how does it does it automatically find out how much to order, or does employee I have to enter how many I want to order?
Yeah, so it recommends for you how much it thinks you should order based off of your dispensing. So anytime an item goes negative, so say you have a bottle of 30 and you're doing a 30-day fill for an item, and it goes negative 60, it's going to reorder up to the maximum reorder point, which most likely would be 90 or higher. So it's going to order the most cost-effective bottle of that particular item for you. And it's also going to keep you on contract with your ordering, meaning anytime you order on contract, those items are rebate eligible if they're
got it.
By off contract, it affects your cost of goods and your generic rebate percentage.
Mm-hmm.
So part of what the suggested order also wants to do is, in today's business, if somebody comes in and fills one time for an expensive medication, I always use HIV drugs as an example. It might not be the best example, but just for cost purposes, that's the example I always give. Somebody comes in and fills a $27,000 prescription, and we're busy filling prescriptions, and that gets put up front that there is a dispense for that. And we're not just ordering, and there's something on the shelf. We don't want to replace that item because we don't know if that customer is going to come back. We can always receive the item next day. So we want to eliminate all of that excess that we're keeping on the shelf.
Okay.
But we're still eliminating partials and outs as a pharmacy because, as an independent operation, you don't want people to come into your pharmacy and you not have the right stuff in stock to be able to provide them or fill that medication.
Got it.
While they're there.
So Chris, I have two questions for you.
Sure.
If we can show that adding what we bought from another supplier, can you show that screen again?
Yes. So there's a request RX item in here, and what this is you would put in the manufacturer information and the supplier name, and then you would essentially add the item. So you have the ability to manage up to 8 additional wholesalers. So if you're ordering from ANDA, that's always the example I give. But anything outside of Cardinal, if you are ordering API, that's directly integrated into the system, and there's nothing additional that you need to do. Like, we receive a catalog file from them, and all of their products are in our system and available for you to order.
Okay, now, and then it compares you showed me the screen where it compares based on the rebate. Can you show me that as well?
Yes. So let's just go to... So when you're looking at items, the system groups items based off of therapeutic equivalents. So if you're looking at the albuterol 2.5 here, it looks at package quantity and strength, and then it looks at UOI cost. So that's the per unit cost.
Per unit cost, okay. And then how does the rebate factor in?
So the way the rebate works in this particular system are any Cardinal item, the net cost that you're looking at there is going to be with your rebate included. So we put all of the rebate percentages into the Order Express system here, and it calculates based off of that. The only thing with outside wholesalers that's different from Cardinal products, so say these first 2 items I'm looking at here, say the top one's a Cardinal item and the second one is an API item, for example. The top item, you're going to look at net cost, and that's going to be true net cost after rebate that you're going to be paying on the item. When you look at the API item, the net cost is going to be the invoice cost, but the calculation for that item, the rebate is going to be done on the back end. So say both of them are $3.59, and they're showing net cost $3.59. It's still going to calculate in that 40% rebate from API, and it's going to mark this item, the second item or API item, as the preferred item.
Because you're going to get that 40% even though it does not show on the screen.
That's right. The only reason we don't calculate after invoice is because we receive a file daily from API that has cost on there, and the only cost we can apply to the system is the invoice cost because we can't guarantee a rebate from that warehouse within our system. So they won't allow us to actually apply and show that net cost for you. But part of what I do in account setup is I go in and make sure that that file is running correctly, and I go in and I do the math and spot check items to ensure that it's choosing the most cost-effective item after rebate. So that is something that's double-checked, and it is kept up on. We do, on the back end, monitor all of those feeds, and anytime any feed drops or something goes down, we monitor that. We contact the customer right away and let them know that there was an issue with the file or whatever it might be.
Okay, so Chris, there's 8 vendors, okay? Vendor A gives 30%, vendor B gives 25%. So So we can put it in the vendor setting. Where do we put that?
Yep, it's in the supplier maintenance section here. I'll show you that. Now, again, the important part to this is when you're entering the item, you actually have to enter the price of the item, and as that price fluctuates or you buy it from a different price, you have to go in and change that on the item. So it's a little bit of manual work if you're buying outside Cardinal or API. But the rebate percentage is really easy to change. You can come in here and hit rebate and update that, and that's going to update the rebate settings for you.
And what are you saying? A Cardinal API?
API is also a part of Cardinal. Vishal?
That's right.
What is the full form of API?
It's associated pharmacy something, So
Oh, okay.
that I will explain to you.
Okay.
Okay, it's another wholesaler basically.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's a buying group wholesaler.
Okay.
Group wholesale.
So the other thing I like to mention too, that's a huge time saver for pharmacies, is when you receive items daily. When you receive an order, instead of you receiving that order and manually applying updates to the on-hands in your pharmacy software system, not everybody does that. A lot of people do that. Have somebody go in, make sure they're receiving each item and changing the on-hands. What we do is we get an electronic invoice from wholesalers, and then we apply that back into your pharmacy management system. So we call it a bidirectional feed because we receive information from the switch as well as place information back into Micro Merchant. But we do not accept an on-hand feed from Micro Merchant. So it's not a bidirectional feed in that sense, because we don't want a bunch of people, say there's 4 different techs in Micro Merchant, and you're updating the on-hands within Micro Merchant. We're not going to accept a file from Micro Merchant to update SIM. We want SIM to send a file each morning after the invoices are received. We want that file pushed back into Micro Merchant. That way all of your on-hands are correct in your software system.
So tell me logically how this is going to happen. So if I receive medication from, let's say, Cardinal, I receive an 810 file. That 810 file will be read by SIMS?
That's correct.
And then SIMS will then send us a report that will be read by Micro Merchant to upload?
That's correct. So again, with the secondary suppliers, that's where it gets a little bit tricky, because Cardinal and API, we receive the invoices and then we upload that file into Micro Merchant. With the outside wholesalers, you actually have to go in and receive the product within SIM, and then SIM will push a file back to Micro Merchant after we can set it for a certain time each day. So if you're receiving stuff in the morning, you have to go in. If I receive 10 products from ANDA, I have to search those items and change the on-hand of those items because they don't send us a direct file.
I see, gotcha. But then if I update it in SIMS, you will send the data to Micro Merchant to upload it.
That's correct. Yeah, we can push through at a designated time. It just really depends on when you're receiving the order. Most people that receive orders from outside wholesalers receive them late in the afternoon. So it would be essentially like a day behind, because what you receive in the afternoon, the file would be pushed through in the morning.
Okay, and then is there any reports for price change or something?
So we receive a full catalog refresh each day for Cardinal.
Right.
For the outside wholesalers, it works the same way, pretty much for any function within the system. The information is garbage in, garbage out kind of thing. Whatever you put in there is what the system operates under.
Okay.
So if you receive a price file and there are price changes on the items that you're buying outside, you just need to change the price of those items.
Okay, no, but let's say if I bought Adware, okay, in the month of May the price was $250. Now the price has increased to $275. So can I get like a report where it says price change report or something, where it will say the price has gone up or down or anything?
Like from a Cardinal perspective or from the other wholesalers?
From SIMS.
Well, so
based on our purchase history.
there's a couple different reports in here. I'd have to verify for that particular one. I've never had anyone request that specific report. What we could do, we could kind of back into that, I believe. What I could do is we could look at all of your outside supplier items, and then I can have my team pull the Cardinal list price for those items. I don't see why we couldn't do that. We could just run a snapshot of
what I mean is, like, let's use this example, okay? Here there is second one, amlodipine benazepam, the number 2 item, okay?
Uh-huh.
Its cost is $11.58 right now. All right?
Right.
I keep saying it, like, let's say I bought it in January, I bought it in February, and I bought it in August, okay? So in January this price was $9, right now it's $11.58. So is there a way for me to generate a report that says there is a price change on this product?
So there's not within, the easy answer is there's not within SIM. Because SIM is just
Not
an
within
ordering
SIM.
platform.
Okay.
Right, but there may be a way to pull that file for you and use it for SIM purposes, because that's an EDI file that's processed by our EDI team, and I can look into that. I'm not 100% sure.
What other reports you have that you can show me?
Yep, sure.
That can help.
So the two most beneficial reports within the system are your excess inventory report.
Okay.
So I recommend that pharmacies run this at least once a month. When you run the report, what it does is it shows you based off the value of the product that you have on your shelf.
Okay.
So this one, it says, for Simponi, I have 3 that I should return because based off of my usage, I have too much on my shelf.
I see.
So as you can see, it's in descending order here from high to low of what I should be returning, and it suggests how much you should return based off of your usage. On this report, you can actually just go through these items and look and see what you want to return. Say I want to return 1, and then you can hit this add to credit request, and it's just like you're creating an MRA, like a manual MRA, and it creates a return report for you.
And the historical usage, how does it calculate? Average usage?
The average usage is 2 dispenses in 45 days or 3 in 90.
Okay.
So again, like on this item here, if I'm looking at dispenses, the date and timestamps, and it looks at, the dispenses between 8/6 and 8/28 are more than 45 days apart. So that's saying that based off of that, I don't think that you need to have a min-max value. You don't need to keep this in stock. Instead of stocking this item, it recommends that you order based off of your usage. So I run a prescription or know that I have a prescription to fill, I order that item and receive the next day and fill that. Usually between 200 to 400 items in any pharmacy's inventory out of between 1,500 and 1,800 SKUs. About 200 to 400 are set at 00, meaning they're next day order, and they're usually high dollar items.
I see. But I didn't get it. You said 90 day or 45 day. What was that?
2 dispenses in 45 or 3 dispenses in 90 days is how the values are calculated for min-max.
2 dispenses in 45 or 3 in 90. So
Right,
let's
so
say
if you don't
in 90 days we dispense 6.
Then it looks at all 6 of those and determines how frequently you're dispensing. And then it's going to, the reason we say 2 or 3 dispenses, those are the minimum values. So if you don't dispense at least 2 times in 45 or at least 3 times in 90, it's not going to calculate a value for you.
I see.
So that's not the maximum value. Those are just the minimum values of dispenses.
I got you.
Another report that's really important. So if somebody from Optum comes into your pharmacy and says, I want to know what your controls were on this date, you can just select the date. So say June 1st, I want all my controls. So you could do C2, C3, C4, C5, controlled, non-controlled, brand, or generic. But say I want all my controls. I can run a snapshot, and it's going to show me on that date everything that I have in stock.
But what if there is a
Usually,
discrepancy between what's on hand and what's showing on the computer?
I'm sorry.
What if there is a discrepancy between what's on hand and what it shows on the on the SIM?
So there shouldn't be. It really depends on how good you're managing the system. I really don't have any SIM users that have a lot of discrepancies. We do audit counts within the program. So basically, we ask that you count. I'll show you how the audits work after I show you
Okay.
what it looks like. But like for controls, usually you're only going to buy controls from one wholesaler. If you're buying from multiple wholesalers, that's a red flag already. For the
Right.
DEA, somebody comes in and wants a control report for you, it should be very easy to run one.
Right.
That usually wouldn't be a concern. It would be more of like along the lines. Your question would be geared towards like the branded generic items if there's something that looks off on the on-hand count. And that, I'll be honest with you, I have 4 accounts that manage 8 secondary wholesalers. 3 of them do really well. 1 of them doesn't do so well. But sometimes they intentionally don't because they don't want to take the time to put the pricing in, or they leave out some items, and that affects their overall, what they have. But as far as the accuracy of items within SIM, this program, we really only recommend that you have to do another inventory every 3 to 5 years instead of every year because we keep stuff accurate within this program. These audit counts, so this is what a typical audit count would look like. It says up here that we recommend counting 350 items a week. That's not really, that looks like a huge number. It's not really the case. I did an install for inventory manager this week, and I did the audit counts 2 of the 3 days we did them this week, and it took about 10 minutes each day. We just look at the item, and as you can see here, bupropion, it gives the strength, and then it gives multiple SINs or NDCs, and it just wants to make sure that the system is understanding that you're carrying the appropriate NDC. Reason for that is because a lot of pharmacies, what happens, you guys get really busy and you're dispensing drugs, and if you're dispensing a drug, but perhaps you're dispensing a different NDC than what you're actually stocking. So I buy NDC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I dispense 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 because I'm going fast, and it's a therapeutic equivalent item, and the customer is not going to be affected negatively, but the system catches a switch feed that says that you dispense an item that you didn't really dispense. So we have a couple checkpoints for you to make sure that we're still capturing the correct data and what you're really dispensing.
Okay. So what would you do? You send an email or something, or how or you throw it in exception, or what do you do?
So these audit counts are populated for you each day. The ones that show up on the audit list are ones that we believe it's an algorithm on the back end that looks over dispenses, and the main thing it catches is what's on this negative on-hand report. So the negative on-hand report is basically showing you the same information that the audit does, but I'll show you here. So anytime there's a group on hand and an item on hand that are different, so for this atenolol here, there's going to be a grouping of items. So this is going to say negative 40 on one item and 10 on another. So basically you're invoicing one item, but you're dispensing another item, and this is how it's flagged here in the system, because we know the dispense went through for 40 of this item, but 10 of this is what we actually had in stock.
Okay. So what about if we do like if we do a physical inventory and we want to update,
Yep. So that's very easy to do.
Come on,
We always recommend when you start the program, we do a metric count of everything within your pharmacy. So rather you do a staff inventory or you get a third party to do it for you, we want a metric level count of everything within your pharmacy. And that's kind of our baseline. If 12 months down the road, if you want to do another inventory, and you want to overlay, we just call it an overlay. We can apply that file from the new count as your new baseline. So we don't add, subtract, or anything. We essentially wipe out the old counts, and we just start with the ones that are being applied from there.
But it can tell us what was the difference.
That we don't have a report for. So we don't have the ability to do an overlay
Right.
and
If
then
there is a
look at
shrink,
all the different things. What's that?
if there is a shrink, there is no way to know that.
So we do monitor shrink within the program. The way that we monitor shrinks is by audit counts. There is an item adjustment report here, so anytime items are adjusted, so I guess we could back into that for you. So we look at all items that were adjusted, and we could do a start date. So say you did, an inventory on July 31st, we could look at July 30th, and then we could look at August 1, and we could run that report, and it's going to tell us the change within all of the items.
I see.
And it would list it in alphabetical order.
Okay.
The other way that we monitor shrink is daily, is anytime an item is touched and there's a new value applied to that, it drills down as far as who was logged into the account and who made that change. So if everybody has different Order Express logins, it's going to tell who made the change on those items and a date and time stamp for that.
And how do we manage when we send the expired, so if the drug is expired, how do we take it out of the inventory?
Yep. So we have that one. We have, so there's an expired goods return, I think, to Cardinal, and then there's a third-party one. We can actually load a third-party return file into the system and change the on-hands for you. So if you do, 100 items are being returned, you don't have to go in and manually enter those items one by one. We can do it in bulk for you.
Okay. All right. Any other reports that we need to, any other things?
So there are some things that are helpful, but it's more of just like your user preferred settings. So anytime you set a min-max override on an item, to say Sim wants you to keep between 30 and 60, but you want to buy the 500 count model, so you override that min-max. We just have easy reports where it gives you access and it shows you which ones you've set overrides on. So that's really the only other thing to show you, other than the excess inventory, the negative on hand, and the snapshots, which show you what your inventory values are.
Okay.
Essentially, we can provide almost any data that you would want, though, because we'll have the data for your inventory and what's in your inventory. The only question I have, which I'm going to ask, is the price change file. That one I think we can get from the EDI team, but I'm not sure how involved that is.
Okay. And now, can you go over the pricing now?
Yeah, so the pricing is the installation fee is $39.50 for a one-site install. It's a one-time fee. It's not an annual fee, and it's $300 a month. You do get a 10% discount if you're an API customer, and you get a 20% discount if you're a LeaderNet customer and you're an API customer. The discount is only applied to the monthly rate, though. It's not applied to the one-time installation fee. But like I was telling you last time, what I try to do for my installs, so for example, I was at an install this week, and we sent back $9,300 of Cardinal product and $4,700 of API product in week one, and we still had about half of the excess inventory report to go through, and that was a $270,000 inventory pharmacy. So just to kind of let you know how that works, I know the installation fee is almost $4,000, but we do try to do returns and look at the excess value within your inventory to catch some of that and do returns to help offset or defray that cost.
Okay. So one question I have is about the daily routine. So my staff would not have to add the order, that I need this. The system is able to figure it out if the inventory on hand is correct.
That's right. All of the invoices from Cardinal are directly input first thing in the morning at 7:30.
So when we start SIMS, the first time, do you go and look at the dispensing history for the previous 3 months to determine the min max, or how does it work?
Yeah, we do. We actually do a 6-month history. So we get, after you sign the data authorization agreement, we work with both Micro Merchant and Relay Health to get a 6-month dispense history. That file actually, I believe, comes directly from the software vendor, not from the switch. They provide a 6-month dispense history.
Okay.
And that's how the values are preset within the system.
And we do have to do physical inventory, correct?
That's right. So usually I recommend doing it the Saturday prior to the go live.
Saturday prior to the go live. Okay.
Yeah, so like this past week when I did an install at a pharmacy, we did the inventory on the 25th. We did a metric level count. I uploaded that count, and we were ready to go on Monday the 27th, first thing in the morning. And it's date and time stamped, so you don't have to withhold any adjudication of claims on Monday. You just operate as normal because everything's date and time stamp put into the system, and then after that, it catches all of the dispenses and operates within SIM.
So does SIMS have like a software that's running in the background on the server, or how does that work? I'm just not able to get that part. As far as data feed.
It's just a direct feed from Micro Merchant. So we have with every vendor, we have a feed and a team that we work directly with for the Cardinal Inventory Manager program. That's part of the reason why the installation fee is what it is, because we have fees that we pay these pharmacy management systems to work with us for all of these feeds. There's a lot of different feeds that are set up within the program.
I see.
Not just.
So Micro Merchant system sends you the feed, and then you just load it, and they charge you for giving the data, and that's why this is how much it is. Okay.
That's right. Yes. And so again, part of that installation fee as well pays for the support system that we use at Cardinal. So we kind of use a 3-tier approach. I'm the operations consultant in the field, so I come to your pharmacy and I help you with any issues that you have up front. Anything that I need help with on the back end, I have what's called an asset manager. So I have somebody that I work directly with, and then they also have an operations person. So if there ever are any issues and something that I can't figure out, I have 2 people back at Cardinal Corporate that help me. One person that works directly with the pharmacy management system, and then somebody that's kind of like the middleman there as well that helps solve any problems that we have.
And this works with how many pharmacies? Does it matter which pharmacy system it is if you're getting the feed from the data?
Well, it works the same as like any program would, where you can use a primary and a secondary switch, but you're only ever going to use one pharmacy software system. We do integrate or interface with every pharmacy software that's out there right now.
Okay.
There are some that the functionality is more limited than others. The only one that we really have an issue with files right now is QS1.
Do you have issues with them?
It's not major issues. The biggest issue or example that I can give for QS1 is that they void out reversals and they don't send back a true negative when you reverse something in your system, especially for cash claims. They're voided instead of reversed. So we wouldn't get a decrement of the on hand to say, I have 30 items, 30 of something, I do a dispense for 30. It looks like I have 0. Well, if I reverse that, it doesn't pull that back in the system immediately.
I see. Okay. Okay. I
so
don't think I have any other questions.
If this is something that you're considering, my recommendation. So there's no commitment up front until we sign and apply everything within the account. So until we actually did an inventory and went live, there's nothing that's charged or applied to your account or anything like that. My recommendation is that if you're thinking about doing something within the next 6 to 8 weeks, that we get an interest form from you. That way we can work with Micro Merchant and start receiving data from them. And then even if you didn't go live, nothing would be charged to your account or anything. It takes 4 to 6 weeks for us to get all of the files we need. So just something to think about. Even if you're not thinking about doing it today, that's kind of the timeline would be 4 to 6 week setup process.
Okay, there is two things I need to be sure about. I need to make sure I have someone here, in the store who could kind of keep up to date with the inventory. That's number one hesitation I have. Number two is the cost. It is a hefty amount. Okay.
That's right.
And number three is, I want to understand more about the data. So if you could send me that form, I'd like to go over that first before I
Okay.
jump into this. So I want to know how it works.
I'm going to send you a blank data authorization form so you can review it and kind of look at what is being signed. Okay, I'll do that after the call.
And let me sleep over this for a week or so, and then I'll get back to you. Okay?
Okay, sure. I'll reach out to you Friday next week and just see kind of what you're thinking or if you have any additional questions. But I'll send you that email right after the call with that blank data authorization.
That works for me. Thank you so much, Chris, for your time. Okay?
You're welcome. You guys have a good day.
All right. Thank you.
Hello. Hello.